What's up everybody, Tommy here, Math Productions, and this video we're going to jump right to the action. I'm going to show you guys how you can make a bunch of credits right there at your home base. You don't even need to travel anywhere specifically. You do have to do a few specific things. You have to have a few specific things available to you. But if you have those things in your playthrough, then this is literally all you have to do to collect credits. It's this easy. So the first thing we did was we are playing a modded playthrough, so mods are in play. We do have an outpost established. In that outpost, we are using the SKK Outpost Attack Manager mod, and we have absolutely summoned a handful of groups as big as we could make them of human enemies specifically. So technically on this quote day in game, I had played through 4 waves of enemies already, or 4 groups of enemies already. They were all Xenos, they were all pretty weak, it was super underwhelming. So this is round 2 of 4 groups, and this time we get lucky. They're all humans, at least the majority of them are. What you're seeing on screen, because I was not really prepared for as many Varuuns to show up in one corner at a time, and of course it was a corner that I had a basic turret, not one of the fantastic Tommy guns, available through the Fortified Mod by Something Wicked. So what I just showed you guys on screen is sometimes in battle, especially when you have a team with you, it's important to see what your role is and see where you can make the biggest impact. Mine, with a limited weapon and ammunition availability, my biggest impact was not to just sit there and try to take out all the enemies myself. My biggest impact was to go into the build mode, move that basic turret after repairing it off of the main wall down onto an entrance area, and then we built a Tommy gun on the fly in the moment to go ahead and give us a little bit of extra firepower defending where those Varuuns were coming specifically. What we're trying to do now is flank around the side of them, because if you have a good strategy, you can be under-equipped and still be successful in the field. The AI of the enemies for any game really is not going to be that intelligent, right? Flanking is pretty much always a vulnerability for enemies in games like this, and I use that to my advantage as often as possible. If you're under armored, if you're undergunned, if you can get position on your enemies, more often than not, that's going to be what the actual deciding factor is. Kinda case in point with what you just saw in this attack on screen. We were definitely outgunned. They had more people, that means they had more weapons, so they definitely had the numbers in that aspect. We definitely had better position. We're slightly elevated in the location that I built for our central fort. Everything in the the immediate surrounding area kind of goes up towards a little mini plateau where our fort's set at. So we already have an elevated position on most ends of our build. Plus then the fortified walls themselves and being able to be elevated even further off the ground up on those walls. And then the turrets in place, specifically the Tommy gun turrets in place, those really were what carried us through all this, because as soon as enemies got close enough to our build, those Tommy guns pretty much took them out. But back to what we started the video saying, the whole idea of this is definitely to show you how you can have fun in a first-person shooter style of play with this game, not only out there in the actual gameplay, playing through the actual quest lines and going exploring all the POIs that you can find, but I promise you, if you showed this video to somebody halfway through and didn't explain that it was a custom build, because of the mods that I'm using, I bet you some people could be forgiven for thinking that this is actually us just playing through a attack on a POI in-game, right? That's kind of the feel I wanted whenever I do these random excursions, so that way it feels like it's actually part of the game and not just me cheesing a mechanic. But speaking on that context or line of thinking, Now that the enemy waves are almost through, we got one more lone, I think, Varuun? I know because I've played through it, but in this moment I was like, is that like an alien or is that a Varuun? It's a Varuun. They didn't want nothing. They saw what was going down, heard what was going down, knew that it was a losing effort. They tried to hide it out. Unfortunately for them, for us to be able to finish up that activity in our activity log, we had to track them down. But now we're going to go back to the Outpost Attack Manager. We'll make sure that we get the gear and the loot from any of the bodies that we haven't gone through and bagged up ourselves already. Because again, I keep coming back to it. The whole idea of what I was trying to do here in the last video I uploaded, which is an entire showcase build tour of this build, I talked about how I basically had no credits. I had like 4,000 credits left, so I needed to get some credits, and we are going to go into the actual gameplay to get those credits, but I wanted to show here, watch this. So we're starting at 3,400 credits after just one round basically of the Outpost Attack Manager. We're able to get ourselves up to around 20,000 with all the gear, and then the usable morgues definitely played a factor as well, getting those harvested organs. But I hope that this video helps you whenever you're trying to figure out how you can make some credits yourself. If you did enjoy the video, I hope you press the like button. I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. There's so much more on the way. Let me know in the comments what you think, and take care.